All right. So we have our Screencastify going. And let me make this bigger. So you have in front of you a worksheet. And on this worksheet, you guys have I just edited a little bit. Because on page 2, what I want you to do is draw a line, or you can get a ruler, and starting at where it says block number and block size, I want you to draw a line down the middle to separate those two. It doesn't have to be super neat. All the new forms that I have, that I'll be handing out, they do have this line in there, okay? The total points is actually 30. 2 points for your name, first and last. And 2 points for the block, which gives you a total of 30, because you're going to have a small. So in one column, write small, in the other column, write large. And each one of the blocks do have a number on them. So it's either, and you can tell the difference between the size of blocks also. And the blocks come in various colors. Even though this is called a blue block, dial caliper testing, they come in different colors. So you can tell here, here's the large block. It's much bigger than the small block. I'm eventually going to print a medium one that's in the middle. Or maybe I'll print something that's even smaller. Or even larger. I'm not sure. Okay? But, so each one of them have, on the underside, they have a number. So like these 2 blocks here, my small one is number 10. My large one is number 2. So you're only going to be working with one block at a time, though. All right? So once you make these changes on this sheet, if you don't, or if you get unless you have one of the new sheets, go to the front page. I still need your name. I still need your name. I still need your class period. I still need the date. You don't have to worry about the block size on this one. Okay? And I want to show you on here. Raise this up so I can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to use the big block, and I should probably get a different colored one so that you can see it more easily. So I get the black one. Okay, so I want to show you, oh, well, the black one you can't. That was bad. I was bad. I made a bad choice there. That's all right. So I want to show you on here the measurements that you're going to have to be doing. So you have your dial caliper. Hold it still. Loosen up your screw on the bottom if you have to. Just make sure it's set to 0. Tighten it back up. Okay. Remember this little bird beak is the interior measurement. This is the exterior measurement. Using this back side, unscrew this a little bit, make sure it's loose. Using this part, you would measure a step, or you could measure a step using this end. Okay, depends upon where you're measuring a step at. So I want to show you number 1 right here. Number 1 Number 1 is this part. It wants to know, the worksheet is asking, how much does this measure, what does this measure right here? So that's number 1. And you can see the arrows. We talked briefly about this in our design. You can see the arrows, and the arrow goes from here to here. This is our, remember, this is our line that tells us from where to where we're going to measure. So for number 1, you measure like this. And remember, you can't look at mine because it may not be the same as yours. So remember that you're not doing this. You're not doing this to measure. You're doing this in between the blades. Okay? In between the blades. And I know this is a little blurry because it's on autofocus and it is focusing on the paper. There we go. Now you can't see my measurements. So here, this one, this is number 1. You're going to measure from here to here for number 1. All right? From here to here. You can't hardly see it. That's black. I can't. Black was a bad choice. Okay. Number 2, take a look at number 2. Number 2 is from here. It's here. It wants you to measure from here to here. Number 2 wants a measurement from here to here. So how would you make this measurement? Somebody tell me, how would you make that measurement? You use them every day to go up into a building. Your feet, well, we're measuring in inches, but what are those things we walk on? Steps. We use a step measurement. So we're going to use a step measurement. Yeah, y'all are like my own children. I'm finding things that shouldn't be here, and they're here, and I didn't put them there. Okay, so we use the step measurement. Again, you can use this back side and go like this, line it up, tighten it down. Okay, read your measurement on this end, and no, I'm not going to show you what the measurement is. Okay, or you can go, this one really doesn't work that well because you have all this extra in the way, or you can go like this, but it's not going to, I would use the small end, I would use the rod and not use the beam step because you're not going to, it's going to be a little difficult to get in there because see how that's not flush? Whereas if you do it this way, you can get it flush. And flush means right up against the edge. Okay? So then you would use your screw, your top screw, above your dial, lock it down, read your measurement. Okay? So number 3 is this little space in between. Okay? In between. This little space right here, in between. It wants you to measure between here. This is number 3. So how would you do that? That is a what? That is a what measurement? I'll give you a hint. It's inside. What else is an inside measurement called? internal, which end do we use with our internal? The big beaky end or the little beaky end? The little beaky end. Okay, so you would do like this. And remember, you're not shoving it in. You're going to get an incorrect measurement. Okay? You're going to get an incorrect measurement. You're using what I like to call the knife blade edges. You can call them the sharp edges. You're going to do like this. Then you're going to read it, and you're going to write down your number. You can, the reason you've got 2 pages here is you can write down your numbers next to here and then transfer them to your worksheet, to the chart. Okay? So I want to review something here. This symbol right here, what do you think that means? This little tiny symbol right here, what do you think that means? Which way is the arrow pointing? Down. What do we measure that's down? How deep something is. This is depth. Depth, how deep something is. Okay, so to do depth, for number 5, it wants to know the depth, and I call these the little thumb holes, okay, the little holes, so it wants to know the depth. We use the sharp pointy end for the depth. So remember, loosen it up, drop that in there. Now, you'll be doing it so this is flat on the ground, on the tabletop, but I want to show you from the side, and then gently push in on the beam, on the rod, until you meet the top. Lock it in so it'll look this way, okay, because you're going to do it this way. Lock it in, read your measurement. Again, I'm not showing you the measurements. You got to figure that one out. Okay, so that one is depth. That is your depth. How deep is it? Okay, and that's right here. Here's another symbol I want to review with you again. What do you think that means? Doesn't mean don't enter. Doesn't mean no circle. It does mean circle. What is it? How round something is, called the circumference. Circumference. So now this is the inside. Do we use the external to measure it, or do we use the internal? Internal diameter. Again, I'm doing this sideways so that you can see. Do not, again, don't go all the way down like this. You're going to get a bad reading. You are only measuring on the knife edges, on the sharp edges. Okay? So it would look like this when you do it. Okay? You'd lock it in place, write down your measurement. So that is the internal diameter, okay? This is going to look a little confusing. You're going to have 2 colors here. You got orange, but I'm going to go around internal diameter. That guy right there, okay? So number 6 is asking for a diameter, but what diameter is that one asking for? External. If you do this, it's okay. If you do like this to measure the external, that's okay. If you do this to measure the external, that's okay too. Okay? But you're not doing this. This is a no-no. No, 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 no. This is an okay. This is how you would measure it, or this is how you would measure it. When you become a professional engineer, the company or the professor teaching you may have a different way of you doing that. This is how we're going to do it today in PLTW. Okay? And then, of course, you would read your measurements and write them down. So this guy is going to be brown, and that is right around here. That's this edge right here. I just thought maybe that color coding this a little bit might help you to remember what to do what with in the future. You may not get, you probably won't have any color coding. Okay? So that's how we do the top. Now, what kind of drawing is this? Let's step back for a second. What kind of drawing is this? Starts with an M. Multiview. Thank you. Multiview. It makes a teacher's heart warm to know that students are paying attention. Okay, so that is this way. That's your block going this way. Okay, you ready? This view is your block like this. So top, what's this? Front. Is that front or is that right? It depends upon your object. It depends upon who's designing it. You know, depends upon a lot of different factors. Okay, so number seven right here. This is number 7. Is this part right here. It wants to know what the distance is between here and here. So that's 7. All right? So 7. 7 is a step measurement. 7 is a step measurement. Again, the easiest thing to do is to do the step on this side. If you want to confirm that you have a good measurement, then flip it over. Okay? And you can check. You can do a step with either end. Okay? All right, so that's your step. Right here, number 10, this is number 10. This is number 10. Number 10 is really easy. It's right here. It's from here to here. Okay, that's number 10. Number 10, you're going to measure like that. Okay, you're going to measure number 10 like that. All right, number 8. What do you think you're going to do for number 8? What kind of a measurement are we going to do from number 8? Because number 8 goes from here to here. It wants to know what here to here is. A step. So you're going to do a step on that one too. So again, you can do a step like this. Oop, I went the wrong way. You can do a step like this. Or you can do a step like this to verify.
I don't even know what the measure is.
I know. I'm going to show you. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. 11.
Oh, this is just like.
You ready for 11? No, this is the worksheet that after you measure everything, you're going to transfer your numbers to. You got to draw a line right there. Right? I'm showing you what to measure, what method to use on each one. Yes. Okay, so 11, number 11, they want to know from the very top to the very bottom. And you see these little dotted lines? This dotted line represents the depth of the hole. This dotted line represents this opening, which we haven't gotten to yet. And this dotted line represents the very center, top to bottom, very center of the bore-out hole. Okay? So number 11 is from here to here. Not here to here, it's here to here. Not going down into the cavity. Not going down into that cavity. That's not 11. This is number 11. From here to here. Okay? Now, number 12. Here's our last view of our multi-view. Right here. Number 12. Oh, number 12 needs a good, I don't know. I only have brown left. Okay, so number 12, it wants to know, how deep is this? What is the distance from the very top to the very bottom? It wants to know how much this cavity right here, it wants to know how much. So how would you do that? Would you do it this way? No. Would you do it this way? No. You would do it like it's a step. This is the depth. It wants to know the depth. Like that. All right? So even though it does not have a depth measurement, this is how you would measure that, like it is a depth. Because you can't fit your tools in there any other way. Okay? So let me show you. Now I'm going to take my little reader, my little tag off. And I'm going to make sure my dial is on 0. I'm going to lock it in. Get rid of this. Which one, it's your choice, which would you like me to show how to measure and read again as a review? Anybody? Nobody? Okay. I am going to pick, I'm going to do this one because it seems to confuse a lot of people, the diameter. So I'm going to pick the diameter right here. Let me focus in. Okay. So I know my device, my dial was on 0. I'm going to lock this in by turning this top screw to lock in my caliper. Now I can take this out of the way. And remember, I'm doing number 6. So number 6, remember we start at 0. We start here at 0. There's our 1. So it's 1 point. 1 point. It's not quite to 6, but it's past 5. And here's our other clue that it's past 5. Our dial is past 0. Okay? So 1.5. Start at 0. We're in the 20s, so we know it's 2. And that's right about 1. And that was large block. Okay? So 1.5 to 1 is my measurement. All right. So after you get this down here, you can jot all these measurements down and then turn the cover page over. So I know, so this was measurement 6. So measurement 6, my large block, and I said 1.5 to 1, and it's in inches. And that's how you would fill it out on your chart. Well, that's what I measured it. You're going to measure your own. So that was my large block. And then my small block, and if you want to, you can do your, instead of writing L or S, I mean, it's whatever you want to do. You can do it in color pencil. You can do one color, do all your larges in blue and all your smalls in orange or whatever you want. So I'm going to measure the same thing, the same distance on the diameter of my small block. Let me get that in there. And then I'm going to lock it in. I can move that. A lot of times you won't be able to move your item out of your caliper. With these blocks you can, they're fairly easy. Okay, so let's say I wanted to pick another color, and, oh, come on, give me a pretty color. I'm going to do green. So the small one for number 6 is 1, so we start at 0. It goes just past the mark line for 1, the measurement line for 1. So it's still 1 point. It's not past the next one, so that's going to be 0, 1.0, because remember the last 2 numbers of your measurement is off your dial. Okay? So 1, 2, 1 for 10, and it lands 5, 6, 7. I'm going to say 7. And that's my small measurement. Okay? So then I would go over to my chart. And remember, these are all in inches, because that's what our dial caliper, most of our dial calipers only have inches on them. So it's 1, 0, 1, 7. 1, 0, 1, 7 inches. And that's how you'd fill out your chart. So you'll notice that your points, there's 1 point for each measurement. That's why you have 2. Okay, there's 1 point for each measurement. 1 point for making sure you get your first name, 1 point for making sure you got your last name, 1 point for making sure that you have your small block marked and your large bar, and 1 point for your large block. And that is how you do my handy dandy blue block caliper measuring grading paper. Any questions? All right, get measuring. Get as much done today as you can, and you'll finish it up on next class.